So once the stream ends, we're playing 10, 20, 40 now after the stream, and now it becomes uncapped. I took the cap off, and I add on $20,000 more into my stack, so I'm in the game for $33,000 total, and let's go into the hands where, right off the bat, finding some action. We're playing 5-handed. I'm in early position with King 8 of spades. I raise it up to $120 with a $40 straddle on. The big blind player with the big stack makes the call, and Mariano to my right in the straddle calls as well. We're going 3 ways to a flop in position of King 10 8, 2 hearts and a diamond. Action checks to me, and I'm thinking this is a huge bink. With the very disguised 2 pair on a draw heavy board, I decided to bet big to $300. And as if life wasn't already so great with 2 pair, the big blind decides to put more money in the middle and check raises to 800. This is what dreams are made of here, as the big blind player might be happy to commit stacks. But then also, actions onto Mariano, and he thinks for a long time, and then ends up making the call for 800. Really surprised by this action, and also at the same time, very confused. So much action going on, I'm in position, and I have to expect that my 2 pair here has to be good, unless I'm up against King 10 or pocket 10s. So with all this money in the middle and a lot of draws to be had on this board, I decide to raise again. Put in a 3-bet on this flop and size to 2,600. The big blind folds quickly, unfortunately, so we're not going to get action from him, but back onto Mariano, who committed $800, calling his raise. After a little bit of thinking, he ends up making the call. So really big pot brewing now, and will this be the first really big pot we play against each other? Time to find out. With already $6,000 to $7,000 in the middle, the turn is the 5 of diamonds. Brings in another flush draw on the board, and Mariano has about $7,500 in his stack. End of the day, the plan is simple, and it's to get it all in by the river. Although there are a ton of draws that could be had here, I don't want to scare away those draws. I want to bet small enough where I can bet turn, then go all in river, like I said. So I size up to $2,200, and Mariano doesn't take too long before doing the all-in himself. He check jams. I ask for a count, but I'm obviously not folding my 2 pair here. It's about $7,600 total. And yeah, I'm in here. I make the call, playing a massive pot against our buddy. I show my King 8, and we agree to run it twice, looking like I'm ahead here. The run out comes pretty clean. Mariano mucks, and just like that, we win over a $20,000 pot against our buddy. Not sure what he had. I think later he told me he had 10-8 for flopped bottom 2 pair, and this seems to be just a cooler. We hop into the Resorts World 10-20 game, and I buy in for $8,000 to start, and we jump right into the action where I pick up ace-queen offsuit in the cutoff with a $40 straddle on. The player in the hijack, my buddy Mariano, as you all know him, he raises it up to $100, and I decided to just make the call here in position. Player to my left, Karan, on the button makes the call as well. So just us 3 friendly vloggers to a flop of ace-jack 5 rainbow. Pretty good flop for ace-queen, all things considered, and Mariano starts off with a bet of $100. Here with ace-queen, 1 pair, it's a good one at that. I decide on just making the call, and Karan folds. We're off to a turn which comes the 10 of clubs, brings in a backdoor flush draw, and now he decides to check. I think with just 1 pair, I can just do some pot control and check behind. He certainly can play a lot of strong hands this way, like maybe even ace-jack or ace-10s, but here, I'm going to check this back and see what happens on the river. The river now comes a board pairing 5, so pretty inconsequential, and now our buddy decides to put me in a tough spot by betting out $1,000. Oh boy, 2 times the size of the pot, a massive overbet, and I have an amazing hand. I don't think there's any way I can fold, but I decided to think through my options for a little bit here, and yeah, I've pretty much got the best hand I'll ever have in this spot, which makes folding out of the equation. Raising seems like a little bit of an overplay as well, so I make the call. He says a jack is good, and okay, if a jack's good, then my ace is way ahead as well, so I show my hand and win. Thank you for the punt, Mariano. You probably should stop watching my vlogs. Alright, we finally pick up a hand. It's a fun one. Pocket 10s with the $40 straddle on. I am first to act here and raise it up to $120, because that's what you do with pocket 10s. Action folds all the way around to Mariano, who's in the straddle. He's to my right and makes the call, so we're in position here, going to a flop of 6-4-4 2 spades. Got an overpair here on this board, and when he checks it over to me, I decided to bet on the larger side to $200. With this board usually favoring Mariano a lot of the time, and I have a good hand, trying to bet for value against a lot of hands that can call, like draws or worse pocket pairs, or maybe even a 6. But for $200, he has other intentions in mind. He check raises to 800. Ew. Not loving it, and I know after playing with Mariano, he's going to have a lot of bluffs, a lot of value, and with pocket 10s, seems like a standard call here for now. Just going to pray that I'm good and hold on, basically. We're off to see a turn, which is the 8 of spades, and this is not an amazing card, because basically all of his, or most of his bluffs get there, like spades or even 5-7, and he actually decides to check. I'm not going to put any more money in the middle right now, at least. I check this one back. And the river is the Queen of Clubs. A card over my pair, and this board is just getting worse and worse for pocket 10s. And now he bets out $1,000. And look, I've played with Mariano a lot, and this $1,000 bet seems like it has to be an easy call as played. But all things considered, honestly, I just don't have a good feeling about this hand. Pocket 10s here isn't super strong, and the 8 of spades was such a bad card. Mainly because, like I said, all of his bluffs, all of his semi-bluffs get there, all the draws, and I just decided to fold. It's not my night right now. Things aren't going my way, and why would I think this hand would go any differently? I fold. I don't give him the $1,000, and luckily, me and him talked after the session, and he told me he had a full house. Pocket 6s. He flopped a freaking boat, want to get more money in the middle, and it's nice to not give our friend an extra $1,000 because he's kind of crushing the game right now and he doesn't need more money from a friend.